The following production is part of the Play Some Video Games podcast network.
The following is a paid advertisement. The opinions and views expressed do not necessarily reflect those of the PSVG podcast network or its employees, except for maybe Coach Mo. Are you looking for an amazing RPG? What about expansive multiplayer? Perhaps a single-player campaign as well. But what if that single-player campaign could be played with friends and not be watered down? Do you think it sounds too good to be true? Well, it sounds like the game dreams are made of. But wait, dreams can come true. Just pick up a copy of Madden 19, available on Xbox One, PS4, PC, and Nintendo... Wait, no, never mind. Anyway, as I was saying, pick up a copy of Madden 19, one of the nominees for Game of the Year by PSVG. This message was brought to you by PSVG OT and Sports Gamers Unite. Hello everybody and welcome to this week's edition of Play Some Video Games, the only gaming podcast that's currently suffering a post-VGA awards hangover, I think. We are the flagship show of the PSVG podcast network, and as I, your host, most of the time, Kevin, and with me this week is the boss man, Donnie. Sir, how are we doing? It's been a week.
The hostess with the mostest. Greetings, Koopling. What's going on?
Did you mean hostess is in like a female host or is in like a cupcake?
Yes.
Okay. Perfect. Let's go with that. I love it. I love it. I'm doing good, man. We've had quite a week. I know you've been busy with work. I too have been busy with work, but not like you have been. And there's just been a whole lot of stuff going on. So before we get to that though, thank you everybody for tuning in, listening, hopefully telling a friend, leaving reviews on iTunes or whatever, podcast service you happen to use. We do appreciate that. Because while it was short-lived, but currently as we're recording this, we are still charting in the top tier of video game podcasts on iTunes, which is pretty awesome. And we had actually been
how insane is that?
Yeah. At one point, we were the number one video game specific podcast on iTunes. Like, Greg might have been like looking up Kind of Funny's charts and looking and seeing himself below us and been like, "What the hell's PSVG?"
I still feel like it's a glitch. It's like a joke somebody's playing on us or something.
Yeah. That's been weird. We're not as high as we're recording, but we're still in the upper echelon.
Well, I was gonna say, here's the funny thing is we've fallen down the slide started the next day. We started to come down to like 6, 8, 12. But here's the funny thing, because of this week, because of Shaq's delay, OT's delay.
That's true.
Game Awards, like, we are sliding down, but we haven't released anything.
That's true. That's really true.
Like, we're about to just release stuff like 5 days in a row. We're going to release something like Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. So who knows? Maybe we'll go back up. But it's definitely it was rewarding and humbling and just really cool just to even see that screenshot. If it all goes to crap, we'll always have that screenshot, Kevin.
That's true. I did save it. It was good. Beating Giant Bomb, beating Kind of Funny.
My wife.
Beating Nintendo Powercast, which is insane.
I showed my wife the picture, and she's like, "Wait a minute, your show's ahead of Nintendo's own show?"
Yeah.
And I go, "It is, but that's not the impressive part here. It's all the other people. Like, we don't even know how Nintendo's show got out."
I think that's true. It's just brand recognition thing. Somebody punches in Nintendo and they just get that first. That's how it works. But
then they listen. They're like, "Oh God."
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, that was incredible. So thank you everybody for contributing towards that. But we had another big thing happen this week, and that was the launch of our Patreon. So I think it's due for us to talk a little bit about that, Donnie. And I know you put out your video after the first day, so you've gotten to say a lot about it. But yeah, you guys are awesome out there. I just gotta say, like, this was a big deal for us to make this move. I mean, we talk about the move earlier in the year to make us better and doing that, and that was a big deal for Donnie and I to even do that much, to be like, hey, let's partner with everybody else, let's do a Patreon thing. But then when that kind of everyone went their own separate ways and doing their own thing or not doing anything anymore, we had to kind of say, okay, what are we going to do next? What's next for us then? And we decided we'll take this chance here, and we didn't know what was going to happen. We joined an existing Patreon that had people already contributing towards it, so we didn't really estimate at all what our impact would be alone on our own. And we had talked earlier in the week with Kyle, and we set up our goals, and we cut our video that we put out there, which came out awesome. And crap, man, we hit all of our goals in less than 24 hours.
That's true. First day.
Yep. Smashed. Which is insane. So I just want to say, because I didn't get a chance to, thank you everybody. And that includes anybody that is, I don't want to say just the listener, but anybody that just listens and doesn't interact with us. We know in our Discord, we have a pretty big Discord, but we know honestly active regular members that can talk to us almost on a daily basis is like 20 or 30 people. So we know when they're listening, but those of you that don't necessarily interact with us, that's totally fine. Don't get us wrong. Mm-hmm. But thank you to you guys too. We don't want to just, say, oh, it's only the people that talk to us every day. It's thank you to everybody here. This was insane. And I'm going to put it out here. We were hoping to have him here on the show initially, and it didn't work out. A big thank you to Sean Capri, for number one, inviting us in the first place and pushing us to make the jump. And then when it all kind of fell apart, motivating us and pushing us to do it on our own, saying, hey, you guys can totally do this on your own and be fine. And lo and behold, he's right. And it's just the beginning. But that confidence we have there is great, because we don't always know. And that's the unique thing with being a podcaster. We see numbers, we see metrics, we know people are listening. We see the charts like we saw on iTunes. So we know somebody's out there listening, but we don't always know, does anybody like it? Are these new people listening once and never listening again? Or are you that person that listens to every single episode and every morning you're hitting that podcast feed to see what updates and maybe you get a PSVG show in there and you're excited about it? We don't always know that. And this week has been a reminder that, yeah, people care, and it's kind of awesome.
It's real easy to forget sometimes that most people don't have Twitter.
Right.
And most people don't Discord.
Yeah, exactly.
It's real easy for us to think everybody does this because this is what we do and everybody's just like us, and it's really not. And you're right. We see the numbers. We see our downloads every week across different services, different feeds. We know where our core audience is and the type of phones they use. We see those numbers, but we don't necessarily have a face behind those numbers. And we don't necessarily know them, and we definitely don't necessarily know if they're going to give us, even $1. Right. And I'm really surprised and happy to report that a few of them subscribe to the Patreon. We have a couple of patrons I don't know.
Yeah.
They just signed up, and there was no message. There's not they're not in our Discord. They're not on Twitter. I've tried to find them. They're just people that like our show. And that's really, really cool. And you're right. You're right to give Sean kudos. Sean bringing us in to make us better kind of got me hooked on Patreon. And I now fund 4 different Patreons.
Yeah.
And for the longest time I was so anti Patreon because it just seemed like such a fad. I always feel like anytime anybody can make $1, everybody runs to it.
Sure.
Right. The moment somebody was like, oh man, you can make money on YouTube, everybody YouTubes.
Yeah.
Oh my God, you make money on Twitch, everybody Twitches. Kind of funny starts a Patreon, everybody starts a Patreon. It always just feels very, retread. But it wasn't until we got to Make Us Better where we had folks that were pledging for us, we did those exit surveys and, we were like, what do you guys want us to do? Cause, we're very, especially PSVG, we're very business oriented. Yeah. We're always, what next? We just churn through it. So it was those exit interviews at Patreon Make Us Better were amazing because there were so many people that were like, calm down. We're like, they're like, we support you because we like what you do. You don't have to do more. We're here for you. We're here to support you. We love what you do. Keep doing it. And it wasn't necessarily about a giveaway or a note or any reward. That really wasn't the point. The point was that they just wanted to show us that they liked the show. And it helps a lot. We didn't talk about it in the intro video. and I didn't talk about it on my thank you note, but I feel like it should be said. Not that like we're hurting for money and not that we're in any danger of shutting it down, but we went from having one podcast feed to now having like indefinite podcast feeds. Yep. We're still waiting for PSXP and OT to stand up their own, maybe Empire one day, but like we now have the ability to do all of that. We switch hosts. We paid for everything up front. I bought all like the mics. Like I have a list. I have an expenditure list.
Yeah.
I put a lot of money when we joined Make Us Better into PSVG. Like, cause I was all in. I went all in and I loved it. I loved writing letters to folks and seeing them get letters and tweet pictures of us. Like, and that was, I got hooked by that community. And I wanted to bring a lot of that with us to our new Patreon, which I hope is represented well. But, like, that's the reason why we started Patreon is we really upped our costs, our revolving costs. And, even $1 really goes a long, long way. Because we've done this for what, 3 years now? 3 years, like what, February?
Shy of 3 years, yeah.
So we've never asked for a cent. We're still not asking for a cent. Like,
right.
Like I said, I don't want anybody to take the wrong message. We're not going to close everything down, but really, I mean, it just helps. Any little bit we can offset, it just helps. It goes a long way. And, I mean, to stand something like this up, you just fear that like nobody joins, and like how that feels. Like I'm always scared of that. And then I also want it to be like clear and concise. Like, we've been talking about it back channels, and our patrons that are on our Discord already know this because we've been talking to them all week. I really want to use patreon.com PSVG as like another channel of communicating with our most chorus of fans. And, I've already I put up my thank you video. My hope is that like when announcements happen or, if somebody's just having a bad day, they're having a good day, like anything really. I'd love for once, twice, 3 times a week, one of our members to just hop on there and just say something. Just say something. Let's just, I don't care if it's 2 minutes. Record your thoughts on your phone, do a little video, and just put it up there and just talk to people. And I know me personally, there are times where I'm trying to go with this is there are times when Bored with Video Games addresses a topic that I would like to respond to, but I'm not on their show and I don't want to wait until Friday to do it.
Yeah.
But like the day that Bored with Video Games comes out, I could easily do like 2 minutes. Like, hey, today on Bored with Video Games, they discussed, how they don't like Smash, and I like it because of these reasons. And I can offer that rebuttal, and we can kind of keep the conversation going, and it's active. And I'm looking forward to possibly looking into using Patreon that way.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So, it's crazy. So, I do want to, before we get off the Patreon bit, I just want to let everybody know. So we've got a bunch of different tiers. So our lowest tier is $1. Get a huge thank you. Thank you so much for showing us and all that. You get access to the Discord if you're not already in there. But we do have a patron only, a Discord role and Discord room. The $3 tier gets us into, we're going to do weekly thank you tweets like every week. So we're going to throw all those out. We'll start those next week. The $5 tier gets you access to PSVG DLC, which was funded. Now this is our monthly exclusive patron podcast. And I think there's several of us on the staff that are really excited about this because the idea behind this is to not make it news focused. The idea behind this is to make it a hangout, like a little bit of what Unrated used to be years ago, a little bit of OT, but just like a lot of fun. Like we're thinking drinking game, like we're getting really stupid with it. Like all of the ideas that we're throwing around are getting real dumb. And so that should be fun. At the very least, it should be fun. I don't know if it'll make for a great podcast, but at the same time, it should be a lot of fun. So we've got that. All folks at $5 level gets access to that. And then, we've got other things. We've got mailing lists. We've funded our monthly giveaway. So that's been funded. So every Discord member gets entered into the monthly giveaway. If you're in the mailing list, that's where like stickers, cards, things like that might show up. And then I guess our big creme de la creme offer is we have a 4K producer for $20 a month, which allows you to record any plug that you want and put it on our shows, which Coach Mo, a word from our sponsors, has already done, propping Madden. And so I think when people read this for the first time, they're like, what is this, to like run ads? I don't want to hear ads on the show. And that's not really the idea.
No, right.
The idea is to have fun with it. Like you could trash a show. You could plug your own show if you've got a podcast. You could make something up. Like I kind of have this idea of like running just a fake ad, just complete fake product, like SNL it.
Yeah.
And like see if I can come up with something real funny. I was thinking of like, you remember you did your video on the Splatoon voice chat thing where you're doing the cans? Something like that would be absolutely hilarious. But yeah, it's just a really cool way to be a part of the show and all the shows. Yeah. So we've got that and we've already met all of our goals, which does bring us to something that I think a lot of people are asking is like, oh, you met all your goals. So what are the next goals? And so I got two things to say on that. One, I don't necessarily think we need next goals.
Right.
One of the things that Patreon and YouTube and Twitch and all that, like that constant like gamification, like more subscribers, more clicks, more views, more goals, more. It's always more and more and more. This is already beyond anything that I could have ever imagined. So I don't necessarily think we need to set another goal. Right. But if there's a really awesome goal that we can set, I'm all for it. But it's got to be good. I don't want to just set.
We've always done stuff when it was right to do something. We've been, I don't want to say we're slow moving because we've obviously grown, I think, a lot more than some of our circle of friends here and what they've doing, which is fine because we're a bigger staff. Like nobody else has the manpower we do. And even then we're still, you and I especially, we do a lot of work. There's a lot of stuff goes on behind the scenes that people don't realize, and we ain't going anywhere. So I know we had some people reach out to us about that, like, oh, what's happening before the Patreon launch? And we're like, no, we're fine. We're good. But you're right. We're not just going to set a goal just to set a goal for goal's sake. We want to make sure we're able to execute on what we've already promised, of course, and then still maintain that level of quality you've known to grow and expect from us, if not get better in the process there. And that PSVG DLC is going to be a big deal. And like you said, it's going to be a lot of fun. And every month it could be totally different depending on who's on the show. Like that's the thing. We're not limiting it to certain members.
I'm hoping
it's like,
to have
hey, who's ready that month? Let's go. Let's do it. You know? I'm
open to have sports debates. I'm going to talk about wrestling. Like we're going to get nuts. Yep. Now we should mention it's going to be like our rated R show.
Yes.
Patreon exclusive. It's not coming out of our master feed. You got to be a patron to get it. It'll be on the patreon.com. But yeah, like first thing I'm going to do is drop the F-bomb. Just start the show like,
oh God,
been holding it in for years, Kevin. I just gotta let it out.
That hurts my soul. You know that. But yeah, so I mean, just huge thank you to everybody from honestly the bottom of my heart. Like we said, we don't always know when people enjoy our product or if anybody's actually listening, and now we just have a better gauge of doing that. So we appreciate all of you out there. It's humbling.
It's so motivating.
Yep.
Like that's really way above and beyond any monetary contribution, which is greatly thanked and will be used very well. You have my absolute, everybody at Make Us Better knows you have utmost confidence in me. We are going to use this money to the best of our ability.
Yep.
But we get such a rush when we have a new patron. We get such a rush when we see it being successful. It's just, all it does is motivate and encourages and validates what we've been doing. Just makes us all want to do more. Like our Discord has been hopping all week. It's been a really good week. In PSVG, like everybody's spirits is lifted. And it's just nice. It's nice to know, like when somebody's like, hey, we love that thing you do. We've got some patrons that aren't patrons. They're followers, which I didn't even know you could do that. But like we have followers that haven't yet contributed.
Oh, okay.
But are following us that are going to contribute. Like they sent me messages like, hey, and like we see them. And it's like, even then, like they went out of their way to at least stop by and say hi.
Oh yeah.
That goes a long way.
And it's the holidays. We totally understand too. Like if people want to contribute, you can't right now. Dude, believe me, almost everybody in staff, we got tons of Christmas gifts by far. We got kids. Like we get it. That's no big deal there. But if you are so inclined and you haven't heard already, it's patreon.com/PSVG. Check it out. Let us know. And hey, if you have an idea for something you want to see as a reward or a tier, reach out. Sure. Let us know. We're always open to suggestions and ideas. And if we can make it happen and it makes sense, we'd be more than happy to accommodate. So I think that's enough Patreon talk, enough business talk, if you will. We had a thing happen last night. Last night from when we're recording this.
Smash.
Well, no, that happened today. Well, not today because it was midnight. The Video Game Awards. So, ironically enough, something that both Donnie and I had no interest in watching and said we weren't going to be watching or participating. Watched kind of the whole thing, or at least
I didn't watch it.
Oh, that's right. You were watching everything on
Twitter,
but
I didn't watch it. So before we go, do you like the Game Awards? Is this like a thing that you do?
This is the first time I've watched it.
Okay. Ever? You never watched it before at all?
Nope. Just watched the recaps.
Okay. So I watched the first two. I think this is the third or the fourth one.
No clue.
Okay.
Never followed. I'll find out. I'll find out what you talk.
I think it might be the fourth one, but I watched the first two. And outside of the Koji Kondo, Imagine Dragons performance, to be quite honest with you, this is not a show that I've really enjoyed. And I'm not trying to say that like I've gotten real sensitive to sounding like a hater. Like I'm starting to, I listen to our shows back and I'm like, man, I really just sound like I hate everything a lot of time. It's not that. I understand it's a celebration of games. It's cool. They all get together. We have announcements. I like that. That's cool. I'm not trying to put down that effort at all. That it's a cool thing. I like it. It should exist. I'm not arguing that it shouldn't. The production and the quality of the show and how it flows has always just really, really like turned me off. The interviews of the past have been at times like just molassesly just boring, if not
fifth year, by the way. This was the fifth annual one.
Cringy, like I've seen some segments that they've ran and I'm just like, oh, this is awful. And then what my biggest issue with the Game Awards over the years is that a lot of the times it just feels, like a made up event, like in the sense that everybody feels like they get an award. Like everybody that shows something gets something, which makes you think that they're getting something for showing something. Like very rarely does somebody come and show a game and they don't walk away with an award. And then you start seeing like how they categorize the awards and you can almost tell that they're setting things up to get certain games on stage and get them. So to me, it lacks credibility in that sense, which is okay. Cause to be quite honest with you, I don't care who the winners are. It's just, I want, like, if you're going to call it the Game Awards, then let's treat it like an award show and like, let's give it, I want it to be respected. I think that's ultimately what I'm trying to say is I want the Game Awards to be respected. I don't want it to be, like this thing that like either people make fun of because it's weird sometimes or something that doesn't carry any validity. It's not creditable because 1 year they didn't have a way to get Mario Kart on award, so they put it in sports.
Yeah.
Like that stuff bothers me because it's just, like if you did that in movies or if you did that in sport, if you did that anywhere else, like people wouldn't stand for that. But for some odd reason, gamers give it a pass. Now, I think typically gamers just enjoy the Game Awards for the news. I mean, like that's why they're just there for the trailers, and they live through the other stuff. And I think it's cool that we get to highlight developers and get to know a little bit about them. But long story short, it's never been my bag. That said, because I didn't watch it last night, I was following on Twitter, crashing Caroline's stream, having fun, making fun of people. Last night seemed, at least from my vantage, because I didn't watch, last night seemed to correct a lot of the things that I thought I didn't like about it. Or did you feel differently? Because Red Dead won a lot of awards. It seemed like they really went with Red Dead. So I wasn't feeling like the everybody gets a trophy type thing.
Sure.
It seemed like when I was talking to Caroline for that first hour and a half, she wasn't talking about how any segments were awful or were going on too long, or like it seemed like it was snappy, it was moving. There's still some categories and awards that are just way beyond, like, I don't,
Yeah, there's a lot of categories. So, I mean, like I said, this is the first time I've watched it. So as far as everyone gets a trophy, that definitely did not happen last night. I totally agree with you there. But I don't get how they award certain things, much like you said, like the Mario Kart is the best sports game. There's a lot of moments in there where I saw nominees. I'm like, why is this here? And then if something won, like, why did this win? Like there was quite a few moments there. And there's still a lot of categories. Now, listen, we've talked about, and I've even turned around my opinion on this a lot since we started, if you roll back the tape, the whole esports scene.
Yeah.
I appreciate it now and I understand it. I get it. I'm into it a little bit more. But there was like 10 awards for esports stuff. And it's like, it's not that big, guys. The best esports host, the best esports coach, who the heck can even name other than Kyle and Kabowski about
I've never
Overwatch
heard of an event winning an award.
That too, yes.
That's weird. That's like a building winning an award or something. Like, I don't know, like, what does that mean?
They gave a best esports moment award, but yet there's not even a best moment in a game award. We're like, it might not be a great game, but it had this, jaw-dropping moment or something happen. We don't give an award for that, but the best moment in the esport. How do you even narrow that down? There's been thousands of esports competitions this past year. Who sat there and ran the tape and was like, nope, this one right here, this is the best one?
I definitely feel like, because in the past, there was one, It wasn't the Way Out year. That was last year. I think it was the year before that where I was just like, this is awful. Mm-hmm. They kept showing the same commercials over and over. I remember that. That was like a constant thing after every award, like the same. Yeah. It was like the same 3 commercials. You saw them like 7 times each. That type of stuff. I was just like, oh, I can't take this anymore. And that's why I stopped watching. And watching on Twitter and following it while I was playing, like I booted up Ashen and like all the stuff that was going on. I had a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun, mixing it up in our Discord and, just having fun with the event without actually just giving them my 3 hours of undivided attention when I could be doing something else. But
yeah, like I get the ads because obviously they got to fund this thing. But then like there was some ads, like new games. I get that, like world premiere, like those were awesome. There's a lot of cool moments which we'll talk about. But they were also like I saw the Tomb Raider ad at least 4 or 5 times.
Okay, so that stuff is still kind of.
Who are they motivating at this point? Like Tomb Raider, like nobody's talking about this game anymore.
Did they still have like the musical performances that just like go on?
But Hans Zimmer was there doing it, which was kind of awesome. Most of them, yeah.
Okay, that's good. It just seems weird that you just like it feels like a commercial break.
Yes, it totally like you're watching what happens during the commercial break where you're supposed to be watching commercials. Instead, you're watching this.
You see like people walking around and they're like playing. And you're like, what's going on?
Yeah. So I mean, there's still moments like that. Like it's still not as polished as like an Oscars or an Emmys or something. I get that, and it's not that level. I get that, but. Yeah, there's some weird things that happen.
Here's the funny thing. When I think of gaming, like the industry, video games, we're so advanced when it comes to technology. Mm-hmm. And we have all this, like, there were more people, I feel like, streaming the Game Awards than just watching the Game Awards.
Absolutely.
And everybody was making fun of that last night. Like, Twitch had like 4 million people streaming the Game Awards. Like, there's so many people out there trying to get their own views on them than maybe even watching the show by themselves. Yeah. I don't necessarily know if gaming's like the Game Awards. I would agree if you're telling me, Donnie, I want to highlight the best that video games offer the world. I agree with that. That's cool. Let's do that.
Totally.
I don't necessarily think video games should be copying what movies and TV did in the past. That's no longer as popular as it once was.
Sure.
And in some effort for credibility.
Yeah.
Like, we're video games. We're master PC race. We're not 50-year-old Juilliard actors, let's do our own thing. Like, I feel like we could have like a really cool, like esports tournament, like an E3 type thing, a polished stream. Like we could have different outlets do different awards, like bring everybody in. Like, why don't you let IGN give an award away and then GameSpot give an award away, Eurogamer give an award away, and do little segments on that and make it really produced.
Make it a celebration of the industry, like what as they say it's supposed to be, but it's really it's very singled in. There was a bunch of awards, and Caroline was talking about the stream. I know you weren't watching, but you were involved in it, and I was watching at that point where they were doing awards in the pre-show, and even at the beginning of the show, and they'd say, and the winner is, and the guy's opening the envelope. The winners are standing off screen 2 feet away from him because the second he announced it, they were right there, and he hands them the award. So clearly they knew. Like, why did you go through the whole? I'm going to open the envelope and see who it is. They're standing next to you, bro. Like, don't even try and fake it. Like,
so instead of I would say this, instead of having like Cory Barlog done up in a suit, because I saw the gifts and everything. He looked great, by the way. I'm not trying to go there.
No, he's an okay job.
Instead of him there in a suit, I would have much rather all right, this year's Game of the Year award is God of War. So let's go to Cory Barlog's studio and let's do 10 minutes on what life is like in the studio and how we made it, and let's do that.
I like that. Yeah.
Package that in a video and then put up the stream for an hour and let us watch that.
Yep. I like it. I like that idea. I do that as opposed to the 3 hours we watched of that.
Yeah, everybody's like in just suit, and it just feels like we're copying. I mean, that's ultimate.
Totally.
It just feels like we're copying what other people do because we want to be thought of like them.
Yeah, it was very stuffy for what you're right. It's supposed to be a fun industry of entertainment, like at its purest form. Like, yes, video games are art. I'm not disputing that, but like the celebration wasn't really even a celebration
Game of the Year. What was it, Celeste?
We'll get to that.
So I would have loved to have seen where Celeste was made.
Right.
Like, what if they went to some dude's house and was like, this guy made Game of the Year
in his basement,
right here in this twin beds? Like that would have been awesome, and like really get to know them. Like because that's the thing, we hear people like, I want to get to know these people and I want to see them get appreciated for their works. It's like, then really do it. Don't make them put on a suit. I guarantee you they didn't wear a suit when they were making the game.
No. Maybe to pitch it to somebody for, to produce it for them. But yeah. But all right, so let's get into some of the nominees and winners here. I'm not going to go over everything because there's a lot of stuff, like we said, we kind of poke fun of that we don't want to really dig into or feel the need to dig into. So let's go right here. Best debut indie game. So this one I like here. And I did play some of these ones, and I think you've played some of these ones too.
Best indie game is the best one that came out.
Best debut. So it was like the first title of an indie studio. So they hadn't put out anything previously.
Okay, gotcha. Okay.
So the nominees are Donut County, which I played.
Coming to Switch and Xbox now.
I know, I saw that, which is fun. I enjoyed the game. It was fun. Not worth $15-$20, but definitely a lot of fun. Florence, which I'm not familiar with.
I bought that on Google Play. Haven't played it yet.
Okay. We have Moss, which is the VR mouse game that we hear so much about.
Yep.
The Messenger, which got a lot of hype in Switchland,
Ninja
clearly.
Gaiden.
Yep. And then Yoku's Island Express, which also Switch title, the Dung Beetle pinball game. So, I mean, there's some good titles in here. And the winner for this one was The Messenger. I'm not mad at that.
Okay.
That made sense to me. I mean, over the ones that I know of, I get it. The other experiences are probably a little bit smaller and don't have that hook, I think, that The Messenger did with people because they're like, hey, this is like Ninja Gaiden. I think that gives an edge automatically to some people, kind of right off the bat.
Sure.
But best multiplayer game. So nominees, Black Ops 4, Destiny 2 Forsaken, Fortnite, Monster Hunter World, Sea of Thieves, which was a joke that's even nominated. Also Monster Hunter World. That was nominated for a bunch. And I don't know anybody that enjoyed Monster Hunter World.
No. Now, there you're wrong. Monster Hunter World was huge.
When it launched, and then everyone stopped playing it.
No. They played it for like 8 weeks. Like a good 8 to 10 weeks. That was... You got to remember, go back and look at news articles. It was like the best-selling game for like 2 months. It was good. It was good. It was popular. People played it. That's a thing. That's a thing.
No surprise there. Fortnite won that. I think that makes sense. I think the only one that could have given any competition would have been Black Ops 4, which has had people divided anyway, but that typically gets...
I would argue, not like, I would argue tongue-in-cheek. Not trying to actually argue.
Yeah.
That Fortnite should probably win most every war. Like, based on the amount of success of the game.
Popularity, sales, money.
How is Fortnite not the game of 2018? We've been talking about it constantly. It never ends.
If there was a category for most influential game, hands down that wins.
Call it most successful game.
That too, yeah. So this next one is near and dear to Coach Mo's heart, and he had some unhappiness with this one.
Ooh, I know where you're going. Yeah,
best sports and racing, which they. So I do want to dictate this. Everyone said that racing games should be in sports. So this one actually is labeled sports and racing, so I'm okay with it being there. But nominees: Forza Horizon 4, FIFA 19, Mario Tennis Aces, which has no place being on there at all.
Apparently, it's getting much better.
But whatever. NBA 2K19 and then Pro Evolution Soccer. FIFA 19, I will say right now, is the third highest, most sales game of 2018.
Yep.
And it did not win. The winner was Forza Horizon
4.
Which I didn't hear a lot of people saying like, yes, that's the one that should have won. But I don't really have a horse in this race per se. I'm not mad at it, but I think, like you said, it's like if Fortnite lost best multiplayer game. It's like, well, the most people are playing that. If FIFA 19 is selling, more than most video games, period.
And I feel like this is my disconnect from at least some of the folks that I think we and other people that listen to us and people that don't listen to us maybe look up to. When you listen to a lot of podcasts from the IGNs, the GameSpots, and the Eurogamers of the world, there's a huge bias. Like the Kotaku guys, for example, like Jason Schreier is the best in the biz, right? Dude breaks all the stories. He's the best journalist in the biz. You couldn't get him to say a nice thing about Madden. Like if you held his hands, behind his back, you couldn't do it. And there's like a bias because those games are iterative, because they come out every year. They're annualized because they don't really change. And there's sports casual video game fans,
yes.
And then there are video game fans.
Yes.
And the video game fans that grew up like on NES and SNES, they don't care about Madden and reading cover 2, and they all think it's a bunch of baloney. Because when they're thinking of video games, they want cool, artsy, something like a narrative or something profound. They want something that moves the medium. It feels like they always kind of lean in that direction. And you're absolutely right. They call them the Call of Duty gamers, bro gamers. They literally mock Call of Duty.
Yeah.
You can listen to IGN podcast and you're like, Call of Duty won again this month. Oh my, I can't believe these people. And it's sad because it's like, Those are the games that are driving the market.
Yep, and that's
those
allowing them to make those other games
hardware.
Yep.
More people are playing Madden. More people are playing FIFA. More people are playing Call of Duty than they're playing Celeste. And I'm sorry if that upsets you and you think that's wrong, but that's real.
Yeah.
That's reality. And for the Game Awards not to showcase that is a miss.
Right. Once again, not reflective of what the
industry. You're not celebrating the industry. You're celebrating you're part of the industry.
Yep. Even if you want to do best sports game and then best arcade sports game, like let those simulators go, because like you said, the people, like, yes, looking at it overview, Madden doesn't change much each year, but if you're a football fan and you're into Madden, it does change every year for you. There are things that most people wouldn't notice, but if you play religiously every year,
every 3 years,
exactly.
Yeah.
So
and it's kind of a problem. I would agree. I agree with Coach Mo. I back up Coach Mo. I stand with Mo. This is an issue.
Sports Gamers United, Mo, as the ad says.
And racing needs to be taken off of that. That's ridiculous.
It does. It really does. Because also with racing games, there's even different levels. So like you look at like what Seth plays. So Seth plays a ton of racing games.
Yep.
But he's totally in for like the hardcore simulation ones. Like he's doing the ones that are way more complicated than Forza is. Like, let's be honest, like Forza is great. It's fun. But I mean, Seth is playing the ones that are like more accurate as to what's going on and what you can do, and you know the limits your car can take and stuff like that. Forza doesn't worry about that. You can run through brick walls. You're fine. Keep going. You know, it doesn't matter. There's different levels of even that. Like, it's
a disservice to the racing genre because every year the racing genre puts out 10 or 12 games.
Oh God, yeah.
And it's like 3 or 4 of them are arcadey and 3 or 4 of them are super simulator and 3 or 4 of them are like in between.
Yes.
But they all deserve, you know, like the crew deserves spotlight. You know, like they deserve, you know, to be shown, even to be considered. But because they throw them in sports together, then you leave out half of the entire category.
Yeah.
So
let's do some fun. Let's do a fun category here. Best family game, which I think is kind of an odd one.
Did Mario Party win?
Mario Party was nominated, as was Starlink Battle for Atlas, which I don't know why that's a family game.
It's got co-op.
I guess, but
sure.
It seems weird. Nintendo Labo, Mario Tennis.
Like that's the Nintendo category. Like they just
It really is. Nintendo Labo, which I also wouldn't consider a game. So we know I'm a Labo fan. I've enjoyed all my Labo experiences, but it's not. It can't be categorized as a game. It's an experience. It's a whole.
I'm fine with it. It's all software. You play it. I'm fine with it.
Okay. Mario Tennis Aces makes another appearance here, and then, but the winner was Overcooked 2. I'm not mad at that at all.
I'm sorry. I'm just going back. How does tennis get nominated for best sports game? And Madden doesn't. Man, that's bad.
Yep.
All right, I'm gonna let that one die now. I'm gonna quit beating that dead horse, but that's awful.
Yep.
All right, so
Overcooked 2 wins though. Yep,
that's a really great game.
Yes,
and it is a really great family game.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I'm all for it. Yeah, that sounds good. Would you mind if they branded it? Like, do you think that's a better or a worse version? Like, if they did best Nintendo game, best PlayStation game, best Xbox game.
Oh. I would like that.
Instead of doing best family game, which is basically the best Nintendo game.
Although Overcooked was on every platform.
Sure, no, it was, but yeah.
But no, if they did that, I wouldn't have any problem. I think they should. Why not? Why not celebrate the first party titles?
That's first party exclusive.
Yeah.
And then you could actually maybe leave the genre categories to non-exclusives.
Exactly.
That's not a bad idea. That's pretty good.
Yeah. Let's see what else do we want to talk here. Best action adventure game. Let's do that one. So the nominees were.
This is the weird one. I remember this.
Assassin's Creed Odyssey.
Okay.
No, this is action adventure. This one makes sense. So Assassin's Creed Odyssey, God of War, Marvel Spider-Man, Red Dead Redemption 2, and Shadow of the Tomb Raider.
My favorite. All right, so action adventure. So not action. Don't judge it purely on action.
Yep, it's action adventure.
My favorite game in this category is Spider-Man.
Okay, I think that's fair, and I will agree with you there. Actually, that would be mine if I was picking from this list as well. Winner, God of War, but I'm okay with that as well.
Okay, God of War sounds like best action game.
To me, I don't really consider, but then it's tough.
You walk around, I guess.
There's a lot of adventure. Like, it's not just, you think about how much you had to traverse in God of War where you weren't necessarily battling. There was a lot of time where you were walking.
Yeah, but you're also not really doing anything else.
That's true.
There's not like any adventuring. You're not like I think I may have found a thing or two, like in a chest behind a wall or something, but you're really not doing much adventuring. You're not like collecting things. You're not, there's nothing to do. Whereas like Spider-Man, you're traversing, but you're adventuring. You're finding things. There's all kinds of stuff to do. Like that's a split for me. If your game has an 8-minute scripted fist fight, that's an action game.
Yeah, that's true. That's fair. That's fair. So we'll transition into best action game then. So just pure action. Black Ops 4.
Okay.
Dead Cells.
All right.
Destiny 2 Forsaken, which I like how they...
It's like a platformer.
Sure. Far Cry 5.
Yes.
And Mega Man 11.
What?
Yep.
Also like a platform. Far Cry 5 was my favorite action game.
Out of those, I'm with you, but the winner was Dead Cells. For best action game.
Over God, so God of War didn't get...
Didn't get nominated.
Okay.
Mega Man 11 shouldn't be there. Dead Cells, in my opinion, shouldn't be there under that.
Did it not have a platforming category?
I don't think it did, so that might be why.
Was it on the best indie list?
Yep, which we're going to get to in a minute.
Okay.
Best VR game. I'm not going to go through the nominees, but the winner was Astrobot Rescue Mission, which makes sense.
Astrobot's really
based
good.
on everybody says how great it is. So.
Yeah, Astrobot's really good.
So best independent game. Nominees were Celeste, Dead Cells, Into the Breach, Return of Obra Dinn, which I've never heard of, and The Messenger.
I've heard of this game.
And The Messenger.
The Return of Obra Dinn is like this narrative, like mystery text adventure type thing.
Okay. So the winner of best indie game, Celeste. So you're right. You mentioned that earlier. That was on there. But so it beats out Dead Cells and The Messenger, which I think all three of them in their own rights should definitely be on the list, as I know them. So yeah.
What is Hollow Knight indie game?
Yeah,
I mean, I would count it as an indie game. That's my favorite indie game of this year.
Yeah, I didn't see that get nominated for anything. I don't think.
I wonder if it's because it came out on PC last year. See, they always do this weird thing with the Game Awards where it's like, like they did that with Xenoblade last year because it came out so late that it wasn't included, but it wasn't included in anything this year. So it's like it just got lost.
That's a good point. That's a good point. And Red Dead had just come out, and that got nominated, as did Black Ops 2.
I don't mean to be a hater. I played Celeste. It's not my cup of tea. Seth loves it.
Sure.
So yeah. But Celeste was not my favorite indie game of the year.
Right.
I feel like I've got 3 or 4 other ones that I would like. I liked Overcooked more.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Best performance. This one I like.
Is this voice actor? Is this music?
Voice acting, character. So, Brian Deckard, who played Connor in Detroit Become Human, and yes, I heard you mocking me in the stream. I do have to mail that out to you. I know. Christopher Judge, who is Kratos from God of War.
Boy.
I can't pronounce his name, but Cassandra from Assassin's Creed Odyssey.
Okay. So I like Alexius more, but okay.
Sure. Yeah, me too. Roger Clark, who played Arthur Morgan in Red Dead Redemption 2.
Fantastic. And
then Yuri Lowenthal, who played Peter Parker in Spider-Man.
Also fantastic.
Yep.
But I would give the edge to Arthur.
And he won, so that one's on there. Which I agree.
Really good.
Yeah, I agree. That one for Red Dead Redemption 2, on top of all the awards that they won, I agree with that one. That makes sense to me. Best audio design, so best audio. This one's kind of a weird category too. So Black Ops 4 is there. I'm guessing purely for the gun noises. I don't know, how accurate they are. Forza Horizon 4.
Okay.
God of War, Spider-Man, and Red Dead Redemption 2.
I don't know, because it's been so long since I played God of War. I don't know if I can actively recall its audio. Would you count so I was thinking but would you count is it just the way it sounds, or is it the writing?
No, it's the sound. It's audio design.
Design.
Yeah. So I wouldn't be scripting or anything like that. It shouldn't be story based.
God of War is really good. You hear the axe when it comes back.
Yep. You hear the clangs. Just the environments are all different.
I'm not even. I don't know.
Yeah, Red Dead took that one too.
Okay.
So best score music. Celeste,
which was good. I like that part of it. Yeah.
God of War.
Mm-hmm.
Spider-Man.
Mm-hmm.
Octopath Traveler. Ni no Kuni 2.
Mm-hmm.
And Red Dead Redemption 2.
On Caroline's recommendation, I'd imagine that Octopath should get this one, because a lot of people were telling me how great Octopath sounds.
Yep. In my opinions, should have been Octopath Traveler, which it wasn't. Another one for me is Spider-Man. A lot of that original score that they had for Spider-Man, which, yes, it was kind of in the background, I thought was fantastic. But Red Dead Redemption 2 won that one as well. So Seth talks about this a lot, and I'm not poking fun. I think Justin even pointed this out too when he was talking about it. Seth talks about how the music is so great in Red Dead Redemption 2. I don't remember any of it. It doesn't seem to be memorable or stand out. I don't know. And I'm not making fun of it. Some of it's
it's atmospheric, right? There are times where it's like Breath of the Wild-ish, like it trails, kind of in the background.
Sure.
But like when you say sound and design, I start thinking of like
no, it's score and music.
Score and music.
Yep.
So like, would all like the campfire songs and stuff count?
Yep.
Because that stuff is like some of the best that you can get out of Red Dead. Like at least for me, that was some of my favorite parts of the entire game. I was like, this is fantastic. Okay.
Best narrative. So now we're talking story.
So
Detroit Become Human,
which I want to play.
I know I do have to mail it to you. I'm bad. God of War.
That's the winner.
Life is Strange 2.
Oh
episode
God,
1,
that also could be the winner.
which to me is weird. But we'll talk about 1 second. So the other nominees are Spider-Man and Red Dead Redemption 2. So Life is Strange 2, episode 1 to me is weird. Now, yes, it came out this year.
Yep.
But in my mind, I don't separate these stories by the episode. I think of the whole thing.
And it's an incomplete game.
Right.
And that's where I was wondering this. I asked Caroline, I think, because I was wondering the same thing. Like, if you were to tell me, so in a couple of weeks, we're going to get together and we're talk about our favorite games of the year. I need to know if Life is Strange can be on the list.
I mean,
if it can, it's
going
going
to be on the list, but it wouldn't be for me only because, like, so I see where it's going. But let's be honest, episode 1 of any of these games that we've played, any story-driven games, is the foundation for what happens after. This could go off the rails and the story be so bad. And in hindsight, once the whole thing is out, you might be like, I hate Life is Strange 2. I wouldn't single out each episode, me personally. Now, they did. That's fine. That's their prerogative. But to me, I wouldn't put it there.
But I agree with you. That's actually what I said. Because if you were to tell me, Donnie, with like your 5 favorite things you did in video games this year, that episode is there. It's my favorite Life is Strange episode. Sure. And I love the series. But I agree with you. It's not a complete game. And if there was any other one of these games that weren't complete, they wouldn't be counted either. Yeah. If God of War was half God of War, it wouldn't be on any list.
Right.
So I don't think it's like a fair comparison. So with that rule that we both agreed to, God of War.
See,
with
for
me not having played Detroit.
Exactly. So for me, narratively, I would put Detroit Become Human. Now, it's not the best game, but story-wise, I think it was a phenomenal story. But the winner was Red Dead Redemption 2. Yep.
I'm gonna stop saying Red Dead Redemption things. Yep. I'm already known as much of a hater. I can't keep doing this.
Sure. So we got 3 more I want to cover. So
God of War is a great father-son story. Yes. It's a great journey story. Mm-hmm. It has Nordic mythology.
Yep.
Which ties into all of the stuff behind it. Like, as a story, dude, there are very few games ever that rival it in like complexity and payoff. I mean, it's fantastic.
Yep. The whole final act of that game made the whole game. Like, I was playing it, I was like, oh, this is fun. So but then that last one was like, oh my God. But
and like, think about like Mimir.
Yep.
And all of that.
Yes.
Like, his stories alone are better than half of the stories I've played in some of these other games on the list.
I agree 1,000,000%. So best game direction. A Way Out.
What does that mean, by the way? What does that mean? What is that category?
Yeah,
I don't know what that means. Is it like the way it was produced or where it's going? What do they mean by direction? Is it like the amount of investment, how fast it was turned around? What are they talking about? I'm
guessing how it was driven by the director. Like, I mean, every game has a director just like a movie does, and that person shapes and molds what the game is. So I guess the best. See, but yeah, you're right. So my mind was like, well, how would that differ? How would that differ from Game of the Year? Because I remember the total package would be the best game direction. But I don't know.
Okay.
So A Way Out, which I laughed when they said that. Detroit Become Human. Okay. Marvel Spider-Man. Okay. God of War. Okay. Sure. Red Dead Redemption 2.
Okay.
What do you think?
Red Dead Redemption 2?
Nope. God of War. Ha!
Okay. You got me. I was going to keep guessing it until I was wrong.
Yeah. Next one, which I believe, I don't know if this is a new category. I don't remember this in the previous ones. Just reading the results from like previous years. Best ongoing game.
I think they started this last year.
Okay.
And I laughed because I was like, this is one of those ones where I'm like, really?
I mean, it's not wrong because that's a new trend in games. And the fact you even have nominees, and I could name more that aren't on this nominee list. So I'm like, I guess.
But see, that's my argument is that because it's a trend, but it's not like a genre.
That's true. There's no best puzzle game, and that's been a genre for years.
But this is just like best game. Because like most games, there are a lot of games are have DLC plans and tails, and they come back. Like that's just the games now. Like I don't, like it sounds like it's a specific focus, but it's not.
That's true. Yeah, because some of these games are ones that are like, hey, this is just going to go on forever, and there's not really a story.
Yeah.
Or there's some here that do have a story. So like, all right, so nominees Destiny 2.
Sure.
Yes, you can play that game forever, but there is a story there. So there is a end point as far as story.
But it's ongoing because they're always doing expansions and everything.
Exactly, I guess. Fortnite, that one I agree 100%.
Sure.
No Man's Sky, okay, that's fair too because that has radically changed. Overwatch, this was tough. So Overwatch has been out for years, and yes, they keep releasing new characters, but they're not introducing new modes or new.
They have like new seasons though, right? Don't they do like?
But the
Halloween
seasons are just skins and stuff. Like it's not.
Yeah, but
they don't change the maps. They don't introduce new. I don't know.
Do they decorate the maps or anything?
I don't think so.
What they should do is instead of calling it best ongoing game, they should call it like
best work in progress.
I was thinking more like they should focus on exactly what makes it. So they'd like best update.
Sure.
You know, or like best DLC or something like that. Yeah.
And then Tom Clancy Rainbow Six Siege. You know, Q's
favorite game. That game is completely turned around.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But to no surprise here, Fortnite took this one. Makes sense. That game every season radically changes what the game does. And once again, too, like I was like after the Halloween one, the Battle Pass, I was like, I'm not buying a Battle Pass anymore because my kids, I bought it, they barely played it, and I play very, very rarely now. Just occasionally, like I can go for a round. But now
we got into it. Like we're into it.
Yeah, which is good.
I don't think I ever played it as much or as devoutly as you do.
Right.
But we play it like weekly. My son,
right now you play it more than I do, and my kids do. Well, your kids play more than my kids. But now they got like airplanes. Now you got the build mode. You got the winter now.
So the creative mode, is this a new mode or is this just for the season?
They haven't said, but I think if it stays, like it's just something that they keep adding. I think it's going to stay.
So it'll be a mode that you can play, and the seasons will add to it. Every season you get new creatives. So can you fight in the creative mode, or is it just like Minecraft?
I don't know. I haven't played. I just know like you have your own space. You can invite your friends. I think you can't fight. It's like that.
I think you can fight.
It's like that blueprint mode that they had, but they've enhanced it so you could do more with that. So that's why they're not called blueprint mode. But so I won that there. And then last game of the year, big one, Assassin's Creed Odyssey. Okay, I guess Celeste, weird one for me, but okay. God of War, Spider-Man, Monster Hunter World.
Okay.
Red Dead Redemption 2.
Spider-Man is my game of the year.
Okay.
Now, I mean, I know who they gave this away to because I saw on Twitter.
Yeah.
But Spider-Man is my game of the year.
Yeah. So God of War 1. I'm with you. I enjoyed both God of War and Spider-Man a lot. Like a lot, both of them. Yeah. But I would edge out Spider-Man. I am shocked that when you review this list, Spider-Man got 0 love. I find that just wrong in so many ways because it was such a different game from what we've been playing, and it's just so well done.
I think the case to be made, or at least what that says to me, is that the people that vote on this largely see that as a superhero game, and it's one just like a lot of other ones. And yeah, this one's good, but it's like a lot of other ones.
Sure. And
I think that would be like the case that maybe like if you could get some candid conversations that they would probably tell you. Whereas God of War, it's like redefined an entire genre.
Sure.
Spider-Man just kind of does, things better than it's ever done before.
Yeah.
But I agree with you. I'm not the Marvel or superhero diehard that you are.
But you're turning though.
I am. And Spider-Man was a big part of that.
Yeah.
I love that game. I got so into it and just played it religiously until I finished it. Just kept going. So I'm with you. I would wonder. That's another thing, like with these voters and whatnot, and how they do it. It's so cagey. You should their votes should like be public. That's why I was thinking like you give it to a studio and actually have them debate over it and like make that a part of the show. Because I'd very much like to know how many people voted on Game of the Year had actually played the games that were in the categories. Like how many of you played Monster Hunter? And how much Monster Hunter did you play?
Yeah.
How many of you played Celeste? And how much Celeste did you play? How many of you played Spider-Man? And how much did you play? Because I'm pretty sure they all played God of War.
Right.
And I'm pretty sure they all played Red Dead.
Yeah.
The other ones, I'd have my, I'm not saying that, they're being disingenuous. I'd have my reservations.
Sure. So that wraps up the award ceremony, but let's get into a couple of the announcements that were
let's talk
unveiled
about
there, because that's really what I think a lot of people, more people tuned in for that than to find out what game of the year was.
It's such a, and here's the funny thing is I sit here and talk about all the credibility and everything. It doesn't matter. The game of the year, like there's like a billion of them. Everybody has a game of the year. Like it doesn't matter. It's such a non-important thing.
Right.
It's box art material and everybody has one. Like how many game of the year editions do we have every holiday? There's like 30 game of the year games you can buy.
Game of the year just means here's everything we did in one box. There you go.
So stupid.
So some of the announcements, I'm going to highlight just a few. We're not going to go through all of them because there were a ton, but let's go through the ones I think that really matter here. And I don't think you've played this one, Donnie.
Oh no, we're going to start with something else.
Stanley Parable.
No, I've never played the game.
Okay, so this is a very influential PC game. Based off the Half-Life engine, which we all know Half-Life, and everyone loved Half-Life, and this was done in the same manner. Supposedly it was weird, funny, thought-provoking, like the whole thing was in there. And it's coming to consoles, which is kind of awesome. With new endings, new choices, new platforms, being the console, but they didn't say which ones, but I have a feeling that's going to be all of them.
Xbox, PC, Xbox, PlayStation, probably not.
Yeah, it might be Switch. It's Half-Life.
It is an old game.
Right.
It's like 2011. You're right.
Yeah. So I think it can handle it. But I mean, that was kind of a cool announcement. I don't think anybody was expecting it. I came like way out of left field on that one. But speaking of way out of left field, this is the one I am going to start with. Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3, The Black Order, exclusive to Nintendo Switch.
Insane.
Which is nuts.
Insane. That's incredible. That's an incredible headline. I've been hearing for months that there's an exclusive Marvel game. Podcasts have been talking about this. Insane. Like Square is supposed to have one, and like Xbox has been rumored to have one. Like everybody's been trying to point somebody. If we could bet on the Game Awards, which would be a really fun thing that Vegas do, by the way. If we could bet on the Game Awards, the odds that you could have got the day before the Game Awards for Nintendo having a Marvel exclusive game would have had to have been astronomical. Nobody could have predicted that. Nobody could have predicted it. All right, so Alliance. So I've played this before, but it's been a while.
Yeah.
Alliance is like Marvel Diablo, right?
Pretty much, yeah. It's a little. People are gonna get mad at me for saying this. I would say it's a little better visually because the characters aren't as small. And you get a better feel for like when you actually get an upgrade, like your character does.
When I remember playing, it's like nowhere near as deep.
No. It's like you get Wolverine and you unlock a power, but the more you play him, you unlock different powers. You can equip them differently. So I just mean like mechanic wise. So like Wolverine might just start as like I'm gonna hack and slash, but then later on he'll get different abilities that allow him to do different things. So like, and there was just so many characters to unlock. Where Diablo, you pick your character, you're your character. Sure. Yes, the character evolves, but you're stuck with that dude. For the whole time. But
Diablo, we don't. And it's not even really that important. I just think the better part is Diablo is an RPG. You've got all these skill grades, you got all these things, runes, and all that. And none of that, or at least from my time, I played Alliance on the 360.
Sure,
maybe in like 2007. I feel like in my mind. So I just remember it basically being like Diablo-esque in point of view, and basically like a beat 'em up. You just ran around and beat
which is awesome.
Marvel heroes. It's fun.
Yep, and you can play 4 players. So this is a great fit. So not just like, hey, Nintendo got Marvel. Nintendo got the right one for them.
That's true. It's a good fit.
You could couch co-op 4 players. You can go through. It's Marvel. Marvel can't do anything wrong now. Marvel literally has influence over all of entertainment at this point, between gaming, between movies. Like we look at what they're doing.
Yeah, they're right.
I read a quote. So the Avengers trailer dropped today. So the whole internet stopped, watched that. It was like trending on Twitter. It was on like the regular news was advertising it. So huge. And then somebody busted out saying, and this I thought was hilarious, but it's accurate. Sony's largest grossing movie this year was Spider-Man Homecoming, which is Marvel. Fox's largest grossing movie this year was Deadpool 2, Marvel movie. So like they're not even they're helping other companies make money.
Yeah.
But this was the perfect fit. So it wasn't like they tried to shoehorn a Spider-Man game into Switch. This is the game that fits for Switch.
And it's
I'm just shocked it's exclusive. Like that's
it's not trying to be Spider-Man. I've been hearing that a lot. Like now that Spider-Man has like this is the standard that all superhero games are going to live up to, and like Batman, this is the perfect Switch game. I agree with you there. It's a really good fit.
And this is gonna sell gangbusters. So in the trailer, they show the Black Order, which was Thanos' cronies, if you remember from the Avengers Infinity War.
The
so they're there. You can play as the Avengers, Guardians of the Galaxy, but X-Men are introduced, so it's a little bit different than the MCU because you have Wolverine and all them in there. And more, and you're just working to stop Thanos and the Black Order. That's all you really need to know. But I think this, unless for some ungodly reason releases and it's completely broken, this is one of those titles that, like, hey, every Switch owner should have this game.
And it's coming from Team Ninja.
Yep.
Under Koei Tecmo. And so they did Hyrule Warriors, they did Fire Emblem Warriors, they do Ninja Gaiden, Team Ninja. And what was the other one? Dead or Alive. And then they did Neo.
Yep.
So they have a long pedigree, not a recent pedigree. They have a long pedigree. They have like a 10-year pedigree of making really good action games. Not like Game of the Year stuff, but really good quality games that people like to play. So I don't think this is going to come out and be bad.
No, right.
At all. I've seen several folks taking shots at it. I saw Sean Capri said he said it thought it looked like a mobile game. And he's upset that it's exclusive. That's been a thing that I got baited into. I got to stop getting baited into online arguments, by the way. I've learned this about me. I'm like, for some odd reason, I can't let it go. Like when I feel like I have a point, I'm like, oh, I got to just jump in people's conversations.
I don't know anything about that.
Yeah, I might have to stop Twitter. Like, I think I might be there. I might be aging out of Twitter, Kevin.
Yeah. I think so. Here's the thing. I think it's fair. Visually, to me, it did look like it did on Xbox 360 or PS3. But we got to remember, it's on Switch. They're going to want it to be consistent as far as being portable and handheld, and it's amazing for portable. If it looks the quality that Hyrule Warriors does and Fire Emblem Warriors does, that's fine. And it does look Fire Emblem Warriors-esque, which didn't look visually to be the most previous game. It had that cell shading thing. That's what they were going for.
It looks like a comic book.
Yes.
That's Marvel. Like, it's a good fit.
Yes. It's not the MCU where it's darker and like thing. Like, these are bright, vibrant comic book colors. Wolverine's wearing his yellow and blue suit. He's not wearing the black leather Hugh Jackman outfit.
How crazy. So we've talked about like how it's a good fit for Nintendo, how nobody would have predicted it. But I mean, we're really starting. So Nintendo's approaching the 35 million mark. They may get to that 38, but we're all like in year 3, they're going to get close to 40, if not 50.
Yeah.
So they're crushing it by their standards. Now we're starting to see them actually get some stuff.
Yep.
Like they never got this on Wii and they never got this on Wii U.
Well, they did have it on Wii. Marvel Ultimate Alliance was on Wii.
No, they had it, but like they never had like a third party exclusive. This is a big third party exclusive for Nintendo. I'm not trying to say it's a big game. It's not a big game. This is a big third party exclusive for a Nintendo console. This is a big get for them. And I'm surprised. I'm actually kind of surprised that they announced it here.
Yeah.
This could have popped to direct big.
That's true. And I wonder if this is going to be out before E3. Is this going to be one of those filler games that fills us in on the way along? So we're getting, Yoshi's Crafting World or the case like that'll be out. Is this going to be one of those ones that tied us over to E3 where they drop the big ones? And say,
that'd be great.
Hey, you guys get an Animal Crossing or whatever else is coming out next year that we don't know yet.
Sure.
Let's move on. So the next one is one that you and I are both excited for, I think, but we might be the only ones, at least in our circle. Far Cry New Dawn.
That's
so this was teased the day before, which was kind of weird. It's like, hey, tune in tomorrow for a trailer of this game we're going to show you a trailer of now.
And we didn't really know what it was.
Right, that's true. We didn't know what it was. But Far Cry New Dawn takes place 17 years after the conclusion of Far Cry 5, as the people of Hope County, Montana attempt to put their lives back together following the explosive ending of the previous game. Drops February 15th, $40, PS4, Xbox One, and PC. Looks good. It's post-apocalyptic, so it's not... I know a lot of people right off the bat were like, hey, this is like Fallout. This world does not look like Fallout. There's way too much color here.
No. I was getting in lots of arguments. People are upset at how much it looks like Rage.
That I think is fair. There's a lot of pink. There's a lot of blues. Like that color scheme, yes, screams Rage.
Let me ask you this, because I got into a little bit of an argument last night on Twitter, because I don't even name drop them. I'm going to get off my haterade. Somebody said, I don't like this. It looks too much like Rage, and I don't want to play 2 of the games that are the same. To which my response was, just because game A and game B look alike, if they're both awesome, is that a bad thing? Like, since when did we start getting upset of having awesome games? Because I'm expecting to play both of them and both of them be great.
Yep.
And they were just like, they just look alike, and I want differences. And I was like, well, 1, you don't have to buy both. 2, most people don't buy both. Like, most people aren't playing Rage and Far Cry in the same year. That's proven. Sales prove that. Most people aren't doing that.
Yeah.
So it's just, I don't know. Twitter's getting me down lately, Kevin.
Well, I mean, so
I'm just upset a lot.
So let's break this down. And I did hear the same things as you said. The people that say the games look the same are basing it purely on the fact that pink and blue is used.
Yeah, the colors.
If you think of the weaponry, it's not the same. This is
environments aren't the same.
Handmade weaponry in Far Cry, whereas Rage is purely like futuristic stuff. You have rocket launchers and missiles. They don't have this in this game. The vehicles and the stunts in this one, like those might be a comparison you can make there too. But let's think of gameplay wise. Far Cry is a slower moving shooter. This isn't a Call of Duty speed type game. It's a shooter, but it's not super fast paced. Rage at least appears so far to be a lot quicker, I think, as far as shooting, like more Doom-esque.
A little more Doom-esque, yeah.
Yes. So that in itself isn't going to be the same. So anybody that says that really isn't looking at the games and saying like, hey, these are similar because, okay, yeah, it's post-apocalyptic. You have pinks, you have blues, and you have some vehicles. That's the only comparison.
Like, Rage is like more like Mad Max-ish.
Yeah, and there's mutants and stuff like that. There's not this in Far Cry. These are still humans and animals.
They're still in the woods. Yep. Like there's still forest and trees. Like
they're using the same resources. They're just reskinning the map that's there.
I'm so happy that it's a sequel.
Yeah,
I'm so happy.
At the end of the trailer, they do show that John is John, right? Jacob
Seed. Yeah. Was it Joseph? One of them.
I don't know.
Jacob and Joseph.
The big bad is still there. Which, if you got the air quotes right ending the Far Cry, that's the one who lived at the end. So spoilers.
Oh man, did you see the windmill?
Yep.
The windmill that said Faith was here.
Yep.
Like in her dude, I was digging it when I was watching on Twitter. I was like, yes, this is all I ever wanted. I would just want more Far Cry 5.
That's really the DLC I wanted because I will tell you I was let down by the DLC in Far Cry 4. Far Cry 5, whatever that was, 4, 5. But the game was great, but yeah, the DLC was kind of a letdown. Another one of note, Supergiant's next game, 80s. Which looks kind of cool. It's a roguelike dungeon crawler which you defy the god of death as you hack and slash away out of the underworld of Greek mythology, which you can play right now in early access on the Epic Game Store, which we heard that a lot last night.
Yeah.
For $19.99. I think this will make its way to Switch and the others. Yeah, I think it was. It's just you can play it now on PC early access. And I think it's going to come to all of them. This looks pretty cool. This is one I'd definitely be interested in. If it's going to be $20 or less, I think this is a buy for me as well. I mean, Supergiant makes quality games, and this is something a little bit different, and I like the theming of it with the Greek mythology. I'm all for it. One I know you're excited about, and Caroline's excited about. You guys might be the only ones. Crash Team Racing Nitro Refueled was shown, which I will say the upscaling, the remastering of the game looks really good. I will say that when you compare the two, it looks really good, like Spyro-esque quality. So the Crash remasters look good, but not as good. This looks more on par with the quality of Spyro has, which was done very well. So it's cool for people who are into that. I don't know if I need another one because this is coming to Switch too, right?
It is.
Okay.
Same date too. There's no exclusivity.
Right. There's no exclusivity, so which is good. But I don't know. It looks a lot like Mario Kart, which isn't a bad thing. But I don't know if I just need another Mario Kart or not. That's fine.
I am of the ilk that we always need more kart racers.
Okay.
I need all the kart racers. Now,
Hello Kitty kart racing.
If this thing runs at 4K on X and at 720p on Switch, I'm getting on Xbox. Because I agree with you. If I'm going to play a kart racer on Switch, I'm most likely going to play Mario Kart.
Yep.
But I got to admit, I've played so much Mario Kart, I'm not really playing Mario Kart anymore.
Sure.
Did you play Crash Team Racing?
No.
Because Twitter, especially my Twitter, because I follow so many Nintendo accounts, they're not happy that Crash Team Racing is coming because they see it as the inferior version. And if I may, just give a little PSA out there, Crash Team Racing and Mario Kart are very different. They're both kart racers. Yep, you can shoot stuff. That's true. But that's like saying Mario Kart's like Twisted Metal.
Right.
Those are the same things too. Crash Team Racing was like a collectathon. Okay. You had all the stuff that you would find through these races, and it also had story and boss battles. And at the end, when you beat the boss, your character would have a little Street Fighter 2 little ending to their story. And you and it kind of, and I know I'm remembering this as a kid. I played this in 1998 or something. It was 99, I think maybe it came out, 99, 2000. It's been a long time.
Sure.
You're talking 20 years for me. So my memory might be a little iffy.
Yeah, this was a PS1 game for anybody that's not.
But in my mind, and the way I remember it is I'm pretty sure I played it as multiple characters to kind of see, their paths. I feel like that was a thing. It had this Street Fighter-ish, Donkey Kong Banjo-ish kart racing game. Okay. And it makes it a little different. And it was fun. It was a good kart racer. I don't like Crash. I feel like that's the PSA that I should always tell people. I'm not a Crash homer. There are Crash homers that are just going to buy Crash. I don't like Crash. I think Crash is a bad platformer. Like Crash Team Racing is freaking awesome. I'm really excited. So I'll probably also buy this on Xbox just so you can have a copy of it, so we can play it anyway. Because it's going to be a blast. It's going to be fun. I'm really excited. It
does look good. So I will admit that. Next one, which a lot of people, I've seen a lot of lists say that this was the most exciting announcement of the show, was the Outer Worlds from Obsidian.
It was really good.
Same people who made Fallout New Vegas, which some people refer to as the best Fallout. I disagree, but it was a good Fallout.
Better than that new one that they've
got. I'll give it that. It has very much a Fallout feel, but it's set in outer space, and it looks a bit more like Borderlands mashed up with like Mass Effect, I feel.
I think like
really cool.
So I was thinking like I was getting like BioShock vibes.
Okay. Yeah, I can see that too. Sure.
Like the one that I played, like BioShock Infinity?
Yeah, Infinite. Yeah,
Infinite. I was getting those vibes.
Yeah. You know what? That's fair too. I hadn't thought of that.
But I'm not a Mass Effect fan either, so I don't know.
Sure. But that looks really cool.
It looks good.
Yeah. So it's awesome. And I totally forgot, and I didn't notice it until I was looking at Facebook after the award show, that I actually have a friend who was a coworker years ago, who I'm still in touch with, who actually works for Obsidian. And he was at the Game Awards last night. So I'm like, I need to try and reach out to him, see if we can get him to talk a little bit about this. He might have worked on it.
That'd be cool, yeah.
So yeah, we'll see what we can do on that. So stay tuned for that.
PlayStation and Xbox, because this is the game that they promised. That's in development. So Microsoft's still letting them release it, and that's good PR. Good on you, Microsoft. Good on you. Absolutely. If I was Phil Spencer, I'd have been like, absolutely not. We're buying you, we're buying that game, and it's only coming on Xbox.
But then it's gonna be on Game Pass, and we won't make any money. But anyway, the last Campfire. That's
Hello Games.
Yes.
Okay.
This was pretty cool looking, I will say. It's something very different from No Man's Sky. It is described as a short experience, but this might be something, depending on pricing, I think you and I would need to go ahead and play. This seemed pretty cool. So this was a fun one. I don't really know how to describe it. It almost seems like a puzzler adventure. Like there's not really any fighting or anything in it. So it's just kind of...
I wasn't prepared for this one, but I remember it. I remember looking at it last night, and
you're like the little hooded character. The bunny ear type thing, or bear.
Is it like Journey-esque?
Yeah, kind of. Yeah.
That's where I was going with it when I was seeing on the GIF. I was like, it's kind of Journey, like it's got that kind of that similar art style, kind of like what was that game that I was real into that wasn't very good? Oh god, it got delayed on PlayStation 4 forever, and eventually came to Switch, and it was awful. It's not Abzu, but it's the other one. It's the Wind Waker-y thing.
Oceanhorn?
No. Keep going.
Okay. So we'll move on with other announcements. Dragon Age 4 was teased. Showed like a teaser trailer, so they didn't give you much there for, but they are basically confirming that it's happening, and it's going to be coming out. So we'll probably see more of that at E3, I imagine. The other one, which I don't know, maybe you're confusing it with this one too, the Pathless, which was from the creators of Abzu.
Yeah.
Which looks pretty cool too.
Now there's a game that came out. It was announced for PlayStation 4 at E3, and I really liked it. I was like, oh man, this is going to be great. It's like Wind Waker. Like it's just like Wind Waker. And then like it got delayed and shut down forever. Yeah. And then it finally came out. Like they changed. It's like from a Mexican. And Kyle is yelling at us in his speakers. He knows what I'm talking about because we both played it, and it is not good. It doesn't matter.
Okay. Stranger Things 3, the game. This was a weird one. So we don't even know when season 3 is coming, but this is a game based on season 3. I don't know about this. It just looks like the mobile game.
I like the mobile game, but I like it because it's the mobile game. It was free.
Right. Yeah, so if they try and charge us, I don't know. It was cool. It's good that they're doing it. Shocker announcement. Not that this game is coming out, but that this game is also coming to Switch. Mortal Kombat 11 was shown last night.
Yeah.
That's kind of crazy, dude.
And it popped.
Oh, it popped big.
Yeah, like it got huge applause, and people are really excited for it, and that's cool. It's exciting.
I mean, you look at Mortal Kombat X did well, and it's done a lot of esports fighting tournaments. Like it's still showing prominently there too. Injustice 2, I think, did very well. Got a lot of people turn on the DLC, and the kind of support they did for that down the line came out really good. So I think the stage was set for them to drop this and be big and have a big pop. Looks really good. I'm interested to see what the difference is going to be on a PS4 versus a Switch, but I feel like NetherRealm Studios wouldn't put it on Switch unless it could at least handle it somehow. So I don't know. We'll see. Launches April 23rd too, so it's soon.
Another big third-party game. You know, like I wouldn't.
And Mortal Kombat hasn't been on a Nintendo console in a long time. So
sales talk.
Yep. New fighters, returning favorites, of course. You get Shao Kahn if you pre-order, and there'll be a cinematic story mode as well, which I know a couple people on our Discord said they actually enjoyed the story of Mortal Kombat X. So, pretty cool. And then one more we'll talk about tonight. We're alleviating the biggest one, I think, for a lot of people because you'll hear it on Nintendo Shack, which we've heard by the time you're listening to this. So if you missed it, go back and listen to Smash Brothers news. But Psychonauts 2 was also shown. We already knew it was getting a sequel. But we didn't hear anything or see anything of it since it was announced 3 years ago. They did show a trailer, and it's slated to launch in 2019. So that's a big favorite, I think, of a lot of people. Good to see another returning franchise come back, if you will. It looks pretty good, so it'll be interesting to see where that ends up. I don't know, do you recall if they said what platforms it's going to be on?
No, I at that point, I think I kind of really tuned out and haven't done research.
I mean, it looks really good. So visually, it looks a lot like the Ratchet and Clank. The last one that you really enjoyed?
Mm-hmm.
Trying to get to the end of the trailer and see if they show the platforms, and I don't see anything on it. So, yeah, did not say the platforms on it. Obviously, it'll be on PS4 because Psychonauts is a big PlayStation game. But wondering if it's coming to Switch, but we don't know.
The game I was trying to think about because it's going to kill me, but nobody Rhyme.
Oh yes, okay, yeah,
okay.
So, I mean, that's all I got, Donnie. So, yeah, I think we've covered all the news, the major announcements, and the actual awards themselves, and we talked a bit about our overall impressions. Hey, I kind of regret watching it. I should have just waited and watched the announcements the day after and then been completely fine.
Me.
Yeah.
I came away, having not watched it, I came away going, you know what? It probably was a lot of fun. And if I had been able to watch it with friends, I probably wouldn't have minded because it seemed like this seemed better than past years. I'm very interested to hear the XP and the VG guys talk about it.
Yeah.
Because at least me following on Twitter, it sounded like they'd righted the ship a little bit, and maybe it was really good. So maybe next year, maybe I'll give them another crack. But yeah, I still think my improvements would be better.
Yeah, we'll see. I'm sure they'll keep going. People watch them. There's 4 million people streaming on Twitch, so they got
at me. We'll get this fixed for you.
Hey, yes,
there you go.
Yes, best content creators. We weren't even nominated. That's what's up with that. Don't they know who we are and how we're charting? Ninja.
Justin Warner, man. What are you talking about?
Right? Ninja. Whatever. Anyway, Donnie, I think it's time we wrap up the show for tonight. What do you say?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So you can find me at PSVG Kevin, the website at PSVG on Twitter. Head over to the website itself, psvg.blog, patreon.com/PSVG. That covers my stuff. Anything you want to say, Donnie?
You can follow me on Twitter at Playing Nintendo. I'd rather you follow the Nintendo Shack podcast on Twitter at Shack Life. And we'll be recording our Smash Brothers cast tomorrow night, which should be out by the time you're even hearing this. So make sure you go download that either on Nintendo Shack's separate podcast feed or on the PSVG master feed. And we're going to cover all of our thoughts about Super Smash Ultimate, which is amazing. Mm-hmm. And then also the Smash news that dropped during the Game Awards. And I'm looking forward to having that conversation with you, Kevin.
Yeah, I'm not. And I will talk about it. I normally shy away from our arguments from Discord carrying over to the podcast, but I know you want me to, so I will play along. So tune into that. That whole episode of Nintendo Shack should just be titled "Kevin Hates Everything." Spoilers, but yeah, we'll get to that. So thank you everybody for listening. Thank you for hopefully telling a friend. Thank you for your support as always. But most importantly, we ask that you never stop gaming.